All right, guys. So before we jump into this video, a quick note, right? So when I use AI, it is strictly used as a drafting and thinking support tool. I don't rely on AI for conclusions, for legal positions, or client advice. As an enrolled agents, as enrolled agents, if you're watching this and you're also an enrolled agent, it is our duty to review, verify, and make all the final decisions. Okay. I remain responsible under Circular 230. AI helps me work clearly and efficiently, and it does not replace my professional judgment. And it shouldn't replace your professional judgment either. Okay. So now that we got that out the way, though, here we have a CP 504 notice, right? So in this video, we're going to be breaking down how I use AI workflows to make my life easier as an enrolled agent and make my life easier when doing tax resolution work. Okay, so I'm going to use a mock CP504 from H&R Block. Here we have Social Security number 99999, tax year 2005, notice CP504. And you can pay attention to these numbers right here because we're going to verify them later when AI is scanning these and going through this entire document. Okay, but as you can see, we're going to use a mock document right here. So the first thing what we do when a notice comes in, okay, is I don't panic. I don't even skim it. I let AI structure the chaos. Okay, so I paste this notice into here, sanitized, of course. And I ask AI to do one simple thing, right? And that is to break this notice down into intent, deadline, risk level, and immediate options. Okay. And that's exactly what it does here. So we have intent, what the IRS is actually saying. There's a final warning before enforced collections. The IRS is formally notifying the taxpayer of its intent to levy, seize, state tax refunds first, potentially other property rights or rights to property if the balance remains unpaid, right? Then we go to deadline. And in seconds, I have clarity, right? Not answers, but I have structure, right? So this alone saves me 10 to 15 minutes per case, right? Immediate options. Look at the numbers here. You have to make sure that this is all real too. So let's see here. The 399 999.86, 399.86 amount due immediately, right? So we have to make sure that these numbers are correct. 284.26, 284.26 failure to pay penalty, right? Now, once you have this, right, you can go through this. You have to make sure that this is really real, right? If what it's saying is actually true, and you have to put this against your own judgment, right? But going on, step two, right, of the workflow, I would say client communication, right? The client communication drafts. A notice comes in, we want to tell the client and interpret this letter to the client in layman's terms, from IRS jargon to human language, right? So you tell it, explain this notice to a non-professional with a calm but honest tone, no IRS jargon, clear next steps. Now, this is very important, right? This is where most enrolled agents overthink or undercommunicate, right? So, plain English, what this letter means in simple terms. You still owe taxes and we're running out of patience. This is what the IRS is saying. They've sent multiple bills before you because they haven't heard you back. They are not warning you. They may start taking money from you if you don't act soon. You have to make sure that this is all correct, obviously, right? But take a look at this, right? What the IRS could do if nothing is done, take your state tax refund. We know that's true, right? Take part of your paycheck, um, the most important dates, stuff like that, right? So AI gives me a clean and calm draft. Okay. I review it, I adjust the tone, I confirm the accuracy of what I'm seeing, right? But the point of all of this is that I'm not starting from a blank page anymore, right? So this gives us some structure, right? So big takeaways, this letter is serious, something in the world, stuff like this. You review this, and if it sounds good, then you use it, right? So now step 3, now we got to talk to the IRS, right? When we get this letter. So what we can do, right? Now, again, AI does not decide what we are going to ask, right? AI does not decide what we're asking for. You decide what you're asking for. So if you, based on the letter and based on talking to the client, decide that you guys should request more time, more documentation, more clarification on the notice, then this is what you ask AI to draft you for, right? So in this case scenario, okay, could you make a draft requesting the IRS for more time, right? Now, it made a letter here acting as the client, right? The client, you can give this to the client and tell them, hey, you should send this to the IRS. Due to my current financial circumstances, I am not able to resolve the full amount immediately. And you can click here to edit. Um, so, and it even tells you here, important, very honest guidance. This does not permanently stop collections. It can help you buy time, especially if you follow up quickly. You can call the IRS after sending it. You're preparing a payment plan or other resolutions. Best practice, what actually works best, stuff like this, right? So, once you decide on the strategy, AI drafts the framework for that strategy. If you're requesting time, right? It helps you for whatever it is. So I'm using I'm using AI as a junior staff member, essentially, right? You tell the staff member, hey, we're going to ask for more time, write a draft for the client. It's as if you're telling a junior staff member what to do, and it does it for you. Okay. That's the difference, right? So the difference here is that AI drafts it, I then edit it, right? It has to go through me. I make sure that everything is exactly how I want it to sound. And that's the main difference, right? So now step 4 is going to be, this is where a lot of enrolled agents underuse, or no, this is a very underrated way to use AI, sorry. And this is a thinking support, right? So before I finalize anything, what am I missing? What question might the IRS ask next? And what are the weak points? Okay, so this is how newer enrolled agents can think like senior enrolled agents, okay, without guessing around. You ask the artificial intelligence blind spots. You ask them what are things that are overlooked, right? Common blind spots, it goes here. It tells you account transcript for TCC. Check immediately for these lean indicators. Um, any prior NFTL filing, why this matters. Um, and it goes on to just give you a very sound and round game plan on things you should look out for, how the IRS might respond, right? So that you can better prepare and not worry so much about if you're doing this correctly, if you missed this, what the IRS might interpret, how they might interpret it, right? And you could go on and on. Any doubts that you may have over a specific case, AI will go in and give you a bird's eye view, give you a senior look on the work, right? Obviously, you have to check over statute of limitations. For example, tax year is 205. That's old. Notice how it catches that the tax year is 2005, right? And look at this. Tax year is 2005. Boom, right there. So, yeah. So it is nowadays, the AI is pretty accurate, right? But we still have to double check. Questions the IRS is likely to ask, etc. Right? So, what are some things that I never let AI do? Now, this part really matters, okay, guys? So, I never let AI choose my resolution strategy. I never let AI make promises to the IRS. I never let AI sign anything. I never let AI override my professional judgment. Okay. And if you're an enrolled agent, then that's also your duty and your obligation, right? AI drafts and we decide, okay, what goes in, what goes out, what gets told to the IRS, what doesn't. Okay, this is the beautiful thing. AI can write 10 pages of things to talk to the IRS, but you decide what you actually tell them and you decide what you actually go ahead and implement, right? Now, why does all this matter to enrolled agents, right? Like, yeah, you could say it saves you time and whatever, but the reason why this matters to enrolled agents that are doing tax resolution work is because tax resolution burns people out. And it burns people out because this work is mentally heavy. Clients are scared. IRS is angry, cold, stern. Deadlines are there, deadlines are real. And this can have a very material financial impact on your clients, right? They're trusting you. This is very mentally heavy, mentally exhausting work, right? And AI doesn't necessarily it doesn't actually remove any responsibility from you, right? But what it does do is that it removes friction. It removes the mental work of doing all of this, of thinking throughout all of this, right? Thinking about all of this, right? And when you're not exhausted by drafting, you can make better decisions that can better impact your client's financial circumstances and you can make better sound decisions. Okay. So this is why it all matters because it saves you mental clarity, it saves you mental energy so that you can make better decisions for your clients later. But that's all for today's video, guys. This was me just going through the workflow of analyzing a CP 504. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gerardo Miguel-Perez. I'm an enrolled agent, and I teach other enrolled agents how to implement AI into their workflow so that they can have an easier life and make a better impact. So